Today's episode of the DanVanDam and Friends podcast, I'm going to devote this one to education and games and that in between. So, alright, first things first, this is common knowledge, everyone knows this, everyone has experienced this, everyone has felt the benefits of this, and that, of course, is educational games. Everyone, roughly just about, an exception to the Indo-Asian kids, who sadly did not have computers, were able to at least play Math Blaster or Word Muncher or Number Muncher, these sort of games that were of yesteryear on MS-DOS or on the consoles, wherever they were able to obtain these said games. Now, this of course plays a crucial role in education and development of the mind, at least the young mind. A mind that's stimulated is a mind that learns. This is actual fact. This isn't me reading from any sort of cue card, no intuition otherwise. This is just me basically telling you the facts about that. If a child is stimulated when it comes to education, they will want to learn. That's why when teachers think of creative new ways to, of course, benefit the child into wanting to learn something, they want to do it, they want to learn. It has to be fun in order for the kid to really get into those books and want to read. That's why usually when a teacher reads a book to at least a certain book to a kid, they want to make sure it's a book that will stick or appeal to the kid and make them want to learn it. But anyway, I digress. Enough of that right there. So, Jane Plass, a co-author of the study and professor at New York University's Steinhardt School of Culture, Education, and Human Development, pretty much said that games or video games or educational-based games are a great way to educate students, or it's pretty much motivating them. That's absolutely true. This is what I've always assumed and known, even when I was a youngster, that I feel stimulated when I play this game, so therefore I want to play more of this game so that way I can get along with this. And secretly, kids having fun with these games actually learn something, and this becomes something that's second nature because they want to make sure they get past this part in the game. For example, Word Muncher or Number Muncher, where it's like, for example, 10 times 5, which is 50, right? So, you pretty much, the kid will remember that when they, of course, have to get brought through this again. And this is the clever way these games do this. They repetitively put the same questions up over and over a couple of times, so that way the kid memorizes it and be able to answer the question completely, hopefully, anyway. So, again, I think that when it comes to video games and all that, you have your shooters, you have all this, puzzle games and adventure games, action games. You have all these games out there, right? They're not anything necessarily to do with education whatsoever. When it comes to educational-based games, most kids aren't going to want to play these because I don't think parents even realize they're there anymore. Parents do not even try to make these kids enjoy them. And I think you have to do this at an early age, or at least where the kids get stimulated enough to realize the value of a video game, not just the hype of a video game. And what does that have to do with this? Well, I noticed something, right? Look at kids of yesteryear, at least 1992 onward, or at least 1980s or so, where these educational-based pieces of software were developed really necessarily and coherently. And notice the behavioral patterns and how kids are stimulated and want to learn. Look at now. How many parents alone really buy these pieces of software for these kids and make it seem fun? I don't know, because all these extra advertisements for Call of Duty pretty much push away these type of games, at least in the kids' eyesight, that make them even want to play them. Heck, I think kids playing Math Blaster is a great way to grow up. Why? Because it's a fun game. Hell, I'll even play it right now if I had a copy. It's just one of those games that are just addicting, and it's like you feel like you accomplish something when you get the answers right? So, it's something I think that more kids need in their education. I think some of these software companies need to really push these pieces of software out to the youngsters, at least to schools, and make it where it's super affordable that these schools could buy these in bulk lot and install it in their computers and let kids play them. Because at the end of the day, it's education that's really important, I think, for youngsters, not how high their kill death ratio is in video games. That's why I think that game-based learning is something that's fundamental. I think that this should be enforced at least on parents. At least an hour a night should be devoted to kids learning these, mathematical equations as well as words and letters and numbers. It's just something that will make kids feel stimulated. At least make a game or a new modern game that will make kids feel want to play. I mean, Math Blaster was based off the old school arcade elements of games from yesteryear. When kids today look at these games now, it's sort of that 50-50 ratio where they're not going to be, connecting with it because you have other games out there like shooters, or they have, just parents who just don't quite want to show it to them, or parents are just naive enough not to show it to them. Is it in the best interest of the parents to do so? In my opinion, I think parents should be doing this more often. Sit their kids down, make them play it at least after homework or before homework to get their brain stimulated before, they have to do all the said lessons and all that inside the books they're given, or these. My nieces had these books, of course. They're like books. They're like based off of like examples and all that, and they have to answer it. And they give like examples within the book, and then they give these problems they have to solve. And I looked through the book lightly when they had it out, and I just said, "All right, what's this all about?" I mean, I had these type of books myself, like phonics and words and all that. I mean, it's stuff's pretty useful. I mean, I think it's a great way to teach the kids, and quite frankly, I think these computer games are really great too. I think more of these type of games should be put on home consoles, at least with Xbox One, like a download or something that's super affordable, like $2 or something, I think that should be pushed out at least on Steam as well, and, Mac and Linux and like Desora, GOG. I mean, heck, I would love to play the old school Blastmaster or the, what the heck's that game called there? Word Muncher? Not Word Muncher. It was a game there with the kids. It's side-scrolling, and you have to answer these things. You have to run through these like platforming elements there. I can't remember what the hell it's called. I cannot remember what the hell it's called. But anyway, that's all I really wanted to talk about this subject at hand. I mean, it's common knowledge. It's common sense that this Jane lady pointed this out. It's like, derp, A lot of us have played these games in the past, and I think we at least benefited a lot from these said games. I became sharper when I was at school, and I at least played a couple of these like the night before, went into school, and I was pretty much a math whiz for at least for a little while until my brain went derp. But anyway, what do you guys think of educational games such as Math Blaster or Word Muncher or Word Blaster? Quite frankly, I thought they were fantastic titles, even to this date. I think they should be incorporated more into the mainstream. So, this article pretty much hit home, I think, and it's something that I think parents should look into, invest into, make these kids play these dead games. But anyway, take it easy. Thank you all for watching and touch my nipples.